They laughed, said you were overdoing it, that you didn't have what it takes, that you were dreaming way too big. And now, they're silent, but watching. Because no one watches you more closely than the ones who once doubted you. They don't comment, they don't like, they don't share, but they're there, following every step, waiting for you to trip. Not because they care about you, but because seeing you win threatens their comfort zone. Every small step you take shakes the foundation of the excuses they've built for themselves. That's why, even in silence, they're watching, waiting for you to quit, to fail, because your failure would justify the life they chose, would validate what they believe about the world and themselves. But your silent progress, your discipline in the dark, your relentless focus, it breaks every prediction they made about you. They didn't believe in you, but now they can't look away because you became exactly what they once said was impossible. They said you wouldn't make it, told you to choose something more realistic, safer, more normal. But what you might not realize yet is that it was never really about you. It was about them, about the fear they feel watching someone chase what they never had the courage to pursue. Because every time you push past a limit, you expose that the limit was a choice all along. Every step you take reminds them of how much they settled, how much they gave up, and that stings. It threatens the comfort they built around their excuses. That's why they doubted you, not out of malice, but because if you succeed, they'll have to face the truth. They could have done more, but didn't. Your success is a mirror, and what they see in it unsettles them. The doubt they threw at you was just armor, to defend the mediocrity they chose to live in. But now, they're watching. One part of them still hopes you fail. The other secretly hopes you win. Because if you make it, you prove it's possible, that someone can rise, even when no one believed. And that is exactly why you can't stop now. Every time you rise, you make people uncomfortable, not because you talk too much, but because your presence screams what many try to silence. Change is possible. Your growth is a mirror, and mirrors are dangerous. They reveal what most would rather keep hidden. As you climb, some feel exposed, because now they can't blame the system, the past, or anyone else. Now there's someone who came from the same place, but chose not to settle. That's why they stay silent, whisper behind your back, pretend not to notice. But they're watching, always, because you represent the breaking of a pattern. And breaking patterns, it shakes emotional foundations. They don't want you to win, but they can't look away. Because if you make it, they'll have to admit that the real limit was never out there. It was inside them, and no one likes to face that. So they root for your downfall, your exhaustion, your surrender. Because if you quit, their world stays untouched. Their excuses stay safe. But here's the truth. You already disrupted it all the moment you refused to stop. You still think you need to prove something, that you have to explain your vision, justify your effort, convince the ones who laughed, argue with those who doubted, but you don't, because the best response you can give is to keep going. No announcement, no speech, no clapback, just consistency, just presence, just results. The noise they made when you started will turn into silence when you stay, because there's no argument against consistency. No one can laugh at someone who keeps showing up, who builds in the dark, who doesn't quit. Time will say what you never need to. It will prove you weren't too much, or delusional, or just a dreamer. You were just willing to pay the price they never had the courage to face. And when that becomes clear, you won't need to say, "I told you so." You'll be too busy living the life they said was impossible. They called him delusional, said he was wasting his time, chasing illusions, that it would never work. He heard it all, swallowed every word, and kept going. No support, plenty of fear, plenty of mistakes. Years passed, nothing came fast, but he kept showing up, one video at a time, one project at a time, one closed door at a time, until one opened, then another. And when they finally noticed, he had already become a reference in the exact thing they used to mock him for. Today, the same people who laughed, share his content, praise his consistency, say they always believe. But he knows, they never stopped watching. They just replaced laughter with curiosity, and eventually, with silent admiration. The respect he carries now wasn't handed to him. It was carved out, built on rejection, loneliness, and relentless resilience. And that's what you need to understand. No one has to believe in the beginning, because once you make the impossible happen, they won't be able to look away. Grab a piece of paper right now. Write down the names, the faces, the phrases they threw at you to make you stop. This isn't for you. Stop dreaming. It's going to fail. Write it all down. Not to feed anger, but to remember. Because those voices always come back whenever you're close to breaking another limit. Now, beside that list, write down what you've already built. Even if it still feels small, even if no one sees it, the simple fact that you're still here already proves you didn't stop. And that's more than most would ever do. This exercise isn't about revenge. It's about focus. So you remember, on the hard days, that the best response is silent progress. unshakable presence, invisible discipline, because the ones who doubted you, they never stopped watching, and in the end, they'll have no choice but to respect you, even if it's in silence, even if they never say it out loud, because you chose to keep going, and that no one can ignore.